Hello, and welcome to another update video about QNT. Yeah, QNT hasn't really done anything substantial since the August low. Actually, not anything substantial for a very long time. Yeah, I mean, we are still holding above that support line here, structural support around $40. You know, we could add Fibonacci support to this, and it shows that the market has kind of, I think, maxed it out. We've even briefly broken below the 78.6 retracement. Now you could argue it's not a sustained break, but it definitely doesn't show strength. So what we are left with is the 78.6 retracement and the 88.7 retracement, which is very deep for a possible wave 2 correction. And I have to say, I mean, we could label it, if we really wanted to, a 1-2-1-2 setup. That's how I've got it. But it needs to show something. The problem is that the rally from the last low is not an impulse. So actually, this is just super choppy, and it's come down quite deep. So while we can still call it a 1-2-1-2 setup, I would rather start to label it as something a little bit more conservative. Yeah, and that just has to do, I mean, that doesn't change anything in the short term, but we can say this might be an A, a B, and we're moving up in wave C, and I explain to you why. So kind of as a long-term projection possibility for the bulls, the reason is, if I am labeling it as an A, B with a C wave to come, at least as a potential, that C wave could be an ending diagonal. And this move up was quite choppy as well into the 2022 highs, even though it can be interpreted as a 5-wave move. But because we are starting here from a corrective base, we might be dealing with a diagonal pattern, right? So that the third wave would be an ABC structure. There's a way to label wave 1 as an ABC as well. But we'll have to see. I mean, essentially, there is still a chance for rising prices from here, as long as we're holding above the red line, because that's the formal invalidation point for any 1-2 setup. The $40 level is, as I said, the invalidation point. We need some evidence that, however, this rally has started. And normally what we want to see is a local 1-2 setup or something. It's not there. So there is no short-term bullish setup as such, right? This is just, it just looks like an ABC structure to the upside. So the way to call that from a bullish point of view, one of the ways is just to label it as an A, B, C structure, right? And then this opens the door to all sorts of interpretations. For example, we can say, okay, if this is a third wave and the third wave itself is an ABC structure, we're dealing with very messy, complex corrective patterns then, where this ABC structure might be the larger A wave, this might be a B wave pullback. You know, it's very deep, right? So if we now move up here, it might be a C wave. And again, that forms the larger A wave. There might be another B and another C. So it's all a bit of a mess. That's why I'm not covering it too frequently. Also, it hasn't really done anything. But this is, if it breaks up from here, breaks higher from here, this is one way of looking at it, right? Surely, you know, from a more optimistic point of view, there's always a way you could label it as an impulse, I guess, but for example, with an overshooting B wave, but it wouldn't make a difference at this stage, and we don't know at this stage. I mean, at the moment, I think it's important to understand there is a local invalidation point, which is the August low, where the price bottomed at $50.55. Any break below it would likely lead to a test of the $40 level, but it wouldn't indicate strength, it would indicate weakness. So for now, it's really time for the bulls to show up here if that yellow scenario is being followed. But I can tell you that any break below that June low 22 would open the door to this white scenario, and it hasn't done anything yet. It hasn't done anything yet to indicate that yellow is being followed. All right, not since the June 22 low, which was quite a nice rally, right? But then since then, there hasn't been anything in terms of, you know, nothing bullish. And I mean, the levels are clear, right? So, but there's no local setup as such to support it unless you want to, you know, attempt to go long with a stop below the last low. because we start to see some momentum coming in the crypto sector, right? But for those who want to get a little bit more confirmation that something is changing, I guess in that C wave you could watch for a 1-2 setup, because that C wave would be a 5-wave move. So once we have the first rally and then a higher low, I mean, that is what we want to see, right? I mean, not telling you this is going to happen, but this is what would give us a first indication that we've actually bottomed there. Rally and the higher low, and then ideally a break above this yellow wave 1 high. This is what we would need to see, and then a break above that $81.60 level next. That's the update about QNT. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.